Chapter 9 What System? After Quinn had finished unpacking, he was free to do what he wanted for the rest of the day. It was still noon, so he had plenty of time to explore the academy and do what he wanted. Quinn was currently sharing his room with two people, and to his surprise, he knew both of them. One of them was Vorden while the other was Peter. There were 3 single beds in the room, each spread out from one another, but other than that the room was pretty empty. Students were expected to spend most of their time studying or practicing their skills. There was no time for pleasure. "What do you guys want to do then?" Vorden asked. "I'm still unpacking. You two don't have to wait for me. Do what you want," Peter replied. Peter had opened up a little to the two of them. At first he was completely shy and hardly said a word, but slowly Peter seemed to be coming out of his shell, especially around Quinn. Peter most likely felt comfortable around Quinn, knowing that he was a level 1 ability user like himself. "I was thinking of heading to the library," Quinn replied. "That will probably be too boring for you." "Boring? I can make anything fun, besides I haven't read a book in." Vorden paused for a while. "I can't even remember the last time I read a book." The 3 of them laughed, and then Vorden and Quinn decided to head to the library together. Finally, they had arrived and the first floor was already busy with students. Quinn noticed that there were multiple round desks spread out where students were sitting, and in the middle of the desk was a glowing orb. "Ah, you're probably wondering what that orb thing is in the middle, aren't you?" Vorden asked. "It looks like they don't have them at public schools. If you touch the orb, then it allows you to create a space. In that space, only those people who have been invited can be heard. This way people are able to talk and chat as much as they want while not disturbing others." Technology sure has come a long way. Quinn and Vorden then chose a table that had 2 other people sitting on the other side. Just as Vorden had said, Quinn could see the 2 talking but couldn't hear a word of what they were saying. The orb seemed to only have a range of the table though. Once you left the table, others were able to hear you as normal. Quinn went looking around the library and picked out as many books as he could about abilities. Most of them describing what different types of abilities the world had. Vorden wasn't too bothered and decided to just select a random fiction book to read. The 2 sat at their tables while Quinn started to flick away. After reading several books, Quinn had discovered nothing new. He already knew about most of the abilities written in the book, but not one of them mentioned an ability like Quinn's. Vorden had been keeping a close eye on Quinn and noticed the type of books he had been picking out. "What's with all the books? Are you looking for something in particular?" Quinn thought about it for a while before giving Vorden an answer. Vorden wasn't the brightest person when it came to academics, but he was quite knowledgeable about abilities, it seemed. He would have to be because of the type of ability he had. "I was trying to decide what ability to get since I turned down the school's offer." "Oh right, I forgot about that. I thought you might have been one of those pure members who hate abilities. Turns out you just didn't want to be a dog to the military." Vorden replied. "Well, is there anything specific you're looking for?" "Not really, I have no clue. There was one that said something interesting though. Have you ever heard of an ability that is weaker in sunlight?" Vorden suddenly started to laugh out loud. "What, are you crazy? I've never heard of something like that. Abilities are something our bodies learn. Sure, some people have limits and can't learn stronger spells or can do less than others, but for one to get weaker because of the sun. Sounds like you're a vampire or something. Nov 1B, 1N. Quinn felt a little embarrassed by Vorden's reaction. Of course, Quinn knew this would be the normal reaction when asking something like this, but it was true. As long as Quinn was in direct sunlight, all of his stats would weaken by half. Quinn continued to look around the library to see if there was anything else he could find. He had finally gone through every single one of the ability books he could find, but there was nothing. Quinn then looked up at the floor above where there were some second-year students. Maybe there's something up there, but I can't imagine what the academy would do to me for breaking the rules, Quinn thought. As Quinn continued to walk around the library, He had eventually ventured into the fiction section and his eyes were drawn to something. A specific title of a book named, The Truth About Vampires. Quinn took out the book and gave it a quick look. Vampires were things of fairy tales, myths even. Even when people started to come out with powers, there was not one person who came out claiming to be a vampire. Quinn couldn't help himself but start to read the book. It was a long shot, but maybe he would find something he could relate to. After reading and skimming through the book, Quinn found most of it was useless. A lot of the things that vampires didn't relate to him at all. Vampires were required to eat human blood. Some could transform themselves into bats and cast illusions, while others were incredibly skilled with the sword and hypnosis, but Quinn had none of these things. The only thing he could relate to in the book was being weaker in the sun. Eventually, Quinn decided to close the book and call it a day. It didn't seem like he was going to find anything from the first floor of the library. As soon as Quinn closed the book though, a familiar sound was heard. Ding! You gained more knowledge about the system. 10 Express received. 15 100ths EXP. It couldn't be, could it?